Let's tune into what funders are telling us about what's going on for them in the fragile economy. Once we understand where they're coming from, we can figure out how to point ourselves in the right direction before we approach them. So let's all put on our funders' hats, shall we? There you go.
Oh, thanks, Molly, for getting it.
Funders, doesn't she look great?
A Christmas picture.
Funders have some good news for us, and they have some bad news. Let's get the bad news out of the way first. Many foundation folks are telling us that they are now more cautious about giving both multi-year and capital grants. Because they cannot predict what their assets will look like in the next year or two, they would rather, many of them would rather not make multi-year commitments. And I can understand that. Why get locked into a long-term contract when you can go month to month or short-term without any penalty? In addition, capital grants signal that the nonprofit is wanting to expand in some way, and tough times are usually not the best time to be doing something like that. Instead, it's often the time to hunker down and keep the current fires burning. So many foundations are tending to focus more on the essential things that an organization is doing right now. So much for the bad news. Now let's look at the good news. We can focus on at least one major bright spot that is emerging from this economically troubled time. You know how one of the pet peeves of all grant writers is that foundations tend not to give general support grants? Well, some foundations have gotten the hint that giving project-specific support is actually not the best way to keep a nonprofit afloat in these economic times. So they're starting to give more of those precious general operating grants. They want to support their grantees in weathering this storm. And they know that only the organization itself knows the best way to do that. These foundation folks are asking themselves this: if ABC organization goes away, who will we support to deliver these services at the end of the recession? They want to ensure that the best organizations survive over the long term. So they're providing the general operating support that makes that happen. In terms of project grants, funders these days want to help sustain programs that do two big things. One is they deliver services that are core to the mission of the grantee organization. And the second one is they address the funder's own mission and strategic direction. So they're looking for those two things. I'm saying that the programs you propose need to be centered on your strengths or your core competencies. So the funder will see you as the most capable organization to carry out the work of highest need or highest interest to both you and the funder. They also want to make sure that your work will be coordinated with the efforts of other grantees that they are funding in your topic area.